Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated. If you find value in this video, consider liking and subscribing, it does help the channel out a lot. President Trump seems to have got what he wanted, which is the European continent at least to step up to the plate and actually defend their own backyard, which is what I'm going to get into in this video. Largely and broadly speaking, I'm not referring to the UK, I'm referring to the continent of Europe, but there is nuance with that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring up this first of all. Britain will deploy boots on the ground in Ukraine as part of a proposed ceasefire deal brokered for the first time by the United States. And Britain signed a deal to deploy troops to Ukraine. This is a peacekeeping mission. It's not war. War is about sending people to die. Let's be honest about that. War is about death. You're sending troops in, people are going to get killed. You should be able to defend yourself. We're not defending ourselves. We're not defending our southern border. So when I see polls like this that I recently put up on my channel about whether we should be committing troops to the ground, it's unanimous, or pretty much unanimous, that the people that watch my channel don't think that we should be. It's not our fight. It is what it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the meat of the topic now. This hasn't come out of the blue. This has been a long time coming. And this is American pressure. This is the Donald saying, listen, Europe needs to get its house in order and defend its own integrity and sovereignty. We can't do it for you. If you look at NATO spend, UK is an outlier. We always put our 2% spend into NATO. A lot of countries on the continent don't do that. We always did. So we always played our part. We always did what America wanted. Then we get into this. Although not to be underplayed, the Anglo-French commitment to put a multinational force into Ukraine after a ceasefire was always on the table. But the United States' commitment to provide a backstop if Russia invaded Ukraine again is significant, so they've agreed to guarantee the ceasefire. Let's have a look now. Not least because of the constantly changing tone from Donald Trump. This unexpected late addition of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff in the post-meeting press conference is a sign of unity. So this is all being brokered because America doesn't want to be funding this European war, this conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Lest we forget that NATO spending about 60% of the spending is America into Ukraine. We're all paying for the war. War needs to end. That's what this is about. And let me get into some historical context. In 1994, Ukraine relinquished the world's third largest nuclear arsenal inherited from the Soviet Union in an exchange for security assurances from the United States, the United Kingdom, Russia, and separately France and China. This memorandum pledged to respect Ukraine's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and existing borders, and to refrain from the use or threat of force. Critically, this was not legally binding treaty, and with ironclad military guarantees like NATO's Article 5. It's committed signatories to seek UN Security Council action if Ukraine faced aggression, but not to direct military intervention. Russia blatantly violated this, first in 2014 by annexing Crimea and fueling conflict in the Donbass, and then again with a full-scale 2022 invasion. The West provided military aid to Ukraine, but no direct troops, highlighting the memorandum's weakness as a mere assurance rather than enforceable projections. Lest we forget that Russia is a nuclear state, like Britain, like France, like China, like America. They put out a statement when they invaded Ukraine. If you intervene directly, we have nukes and would prefer to use them. This is why the nuclear deterrence is necessary. This is why I do not and will never actually get on board and say we're being sent to war. I don't actually think that that's happening. I think people that are saying that are reactionary, to be honest. And they need to be a bit more responsible. That's just my view. Let me get on to this here. NATO's 2% of GDP target from chronic underspending to progress. Let's also the pre-2022 reality. The 2014 summit set a 2% of GDP goal after Russia's Crimea annexation, yet progress was slow. From 2014 to 2021, only a handful met it consistently, being Greece, United States, United Kingdom, Poland, and the Baltic states. Many major continental powers, Spain, Italy, Belgium, Germany, hovered around 1% to 1.5, relying heavily on United States protection. This is what America is sick and tired of. The European continent not paying its way and basically putting all their money into infinity migrants and socialism. And this is what America is sick and tired of. And who can say I blame them? If we were paying 60% of a military spend to protect a continent that we don't even belong to, who would be happy with that? Why would the American taxpayers be happy with that? I wouldn't be happy with that. I'd be fucking pissed. We continue. Russia's 2022 invasion triggered a turning point, especially for Germany, and spending surged. By 2024, 23 of the 32 NATO members hit 2%. European NATO plus Canada collectively exceeded 2% for the first time. The leaders, Poland, with 4.7%, Estonia and the Baltics over 3%, Germany reached 2.1%. This is what Trump wanted all along. He didn't want the war to begin with. I'm of the frame of mind, if Trump had won his second presidency in 2020, I don't think Russia would have invaded Ukraine. And like many other people, I actually knew where Ukraine was before the war because I've seen Indiana Jones. I know what goes on. I knew it was part of the former Soviet Union. I knew this. I'm not speaking with authority. I do know that Ukraine is one of the most corrupt states in Europe, if not the world. Their leader, Zelensky, is a literal actor, which is why I think he's so convincing on some conferences, because he's literally a paid actor. There is a lot of money laundering and scandals in Ukraine. But on the other hand, should they be getting invaded? I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. Let me go on to this here. This is the poll, as I said previously. 94% of people on my channel don't think that we should begin to put boots on the ground in Ukraine. I think that's a bit harsh. I'm going to be honest. I think that's a bit harsh. And the reason why I think it's a bit harsh is I do think, to the broader continent, we do have a collective responsibility. It may not be our specific responsibility because we can't even secure our own borders, and that's one of the biggest complaints I've got. We can't actually secure the sovereign integrity of this United Kingdom, and yet we want to try and secure other countries' borders. It doesn't make sense. It's really, really hypocritical. And then the second thing is, show me something worth fighting for. What am I actually fighting for? The country is in a dire state. Everybody's getting worse off. Nobody can get a house. Nobody can get a job. No one can get anything at all that they want out of the system. The only people that are getting what they want out of the system are the people that want to send us all to go and fight in foreign wars. These are the people that are making the profits. These are the people that won't send their own children to the front line, and yet they want your children and everyone's children to go out and actually do the dirty work. This is the issue. When I look at polls like this is what I think many people have got a problem with. This is just my view, obviously. Your mileage may vary. Now let me know, is it the corruption issue in Ukraine? Is it the fact that you don't think it's our fight? Is it the fact that we can't even defend our own borders? Or is it you think our country's in such dire straits, you're like, yeah, well, what's the point? Or is it all four? Anyway, these are just my views. I don't think all of this talk out of Europe has come on its own. I think it's because behind the scenes, the Donald specifically said, we're not paying for this war anymore. You need to get behind this peace deal. Otherwise, we're not going to be there to wipe your asses anymore. Just my view. Now, if you think I make some good points and you think that the Donald is pulling rank here and saying, listen, this is happening, you need to jump on the train, you make me aware. Do you think that it is going to be a hot war? Do you think if this happens, it would be a hot war? Meaning actual live combat for British troops. Comment, like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. You have a good day. Thank you for your time.